Ladies and gentlemen, hello and you are watching TTV News with some latest events in the province. And now coming to details. Ladies and gentlemen, recently at Tamba Industrial Park, the National Assembly delegation of the province met voters who are union members and workers in Tamba town before the third session of the 15th National Assembly.
The meeting received a lot of comments from the workers reflecting the concern, thoughts and aspirations of the workers' lives today. Many workers told the National Assembly delegation that due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, many companies have not increased wages for workers in the past 2 years, while currently the prices are escalating, putting pressures on the workers' lives. Voters also asked the state to quickly implement the plans to increase the regional minimum wage to stabilize the lives of the workers. Some comments reflect on the allowance of trade union officials, the implementation of projects to build kindergartens and primary school in industrial zones so that the workers can take care of their children at work and work with a peace of mind. At the same time, the workers also proposed to add a number of control houses to improve the quality of spiritual life for workers. The issues of security and order in the region was also reflected by many voters. Currently, the situation of theft troubles in industrial parks and bad credit status and high interest rate loans by financial companies have already adversely affected the people's life. The voters also recommended the relevant authorities to have the solution to prevent and control this situation. Another issue of concern of the voters is the quality of meals for the workers today. The voters suggested that management agencies have strict and uniform regulations on the qualities of employees' meals in order to protect the workers' health and pay attention to the unemployment insurance, social insurance, and social insurance other regulations related to the employees' welfare. The delegate Nguyễn Mạnh Tiến, Deputy Chairman of Foreign Affairs Committee of the National Assembly, shared and answered a number of questions from the voters, and at the same time received the voters' recommendation to send for competent agencies, representatives of the Management Board of the Economic Zone, the Provincial Social Insurance, and the Provincial Labour Confederation also have received and explained a number of contents to the workers. Meanwhile, a delegate to the National Assembly to TayNinhTV province, including Delegate Hoa Thanh, Deputy Head of the Provincial Delegation of National Assembly Deputies, Delegate Hoa Thanh, Secretary of Goyao District Party Committee, has a contact with nearly 30 voters who were the representatives of the business leaders operating in Phước Đông Industrial Park of Goyao District. The voters said that businesses are currently in a strong process of restoring production, but the procedures for permits to build factories and works have still quite complicated, even requiring an authorities and regulation from the central ministry, causing difficulties and very time-consuming for businesses. In particular, there are a number of projects that have encountered difficulties since the time of the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic until now, which have not been guided and removed. Some businesses also propose the authorities to guide and loosen visa conditions for the foreign workers with the appetite to meet the production requirements, suggesting the province leader to open a foreign language training center, especially in Chinese and Korean. The security and order situation in the border area between Đông Thuận Commune of Trảng Bàng Town and Phước Đông Commune of Goyao District has recently been complicated. And Mr. Trần Ngọc Nhân, advisor of Saigon VRG Investment Joint Stock Company, shared the difficulties with businesses and expressed that he will accompany businesses and propose solutions to the authorities. Agencies have received and explained a number of contents on human resources development policies for industrial parks. Delegate Hoa Thanh, on behalf of the National Assembly delegation, acknowledged the voters' recommendation with the content falls within the local jurisdiction. The National Assembly delegation will reflect and propose to the competent authorities. On the issues under central authority, delegates will continue to propose to the central government.
The survey team of the Control Social Committee of the Provincial People Council has just had a working session with the Health Center of Hoa Thanh, representatives of the People Council and People Committee on the operation of the grassroots health system in the town.
Accordingly, Hoa Thanh Town Health Center is a second-class hospital. Currently has about 228 people working with about 8 units under the center, including commune health stations. Through the field survey, in general, the commune health stations have basically been built solidly and have a medical staff on duty 24/24 to provide medical examination and treatment and provide medicines to the people. At the survey, the delegation listened to suggestions and recommendations from the health center of Hoa Thanh Town, the grassroots medical stations about the difficulties and limitations that the units are facing, such as lack of professional human resources, medicine, inadequate for our equipment, and cannot meet the needs of medical examination and treatment. The liquid waste treatment system at the health center is not satisfactory. And Mr. Nguyễn Việt Cường, Deputy Head of the Culture and Social Affairs Committee of the Provincial People's Council, acknowledged and shared the difficulties and hardships of the unit in the past time. At the same time, there will be proposal to the Department of Health and the provincial branches to have a common investment for the whole province. And ladies and gentlemen, collective economy and cooperatives are one of the 5 important economic components that have been affirmed by the party and the state throughout the country. There are also major policies on the party to orient the development of cooperative for more than 20 years. And by the end of 2021, the whole province has about 121 cooperation groups with nearly 2,000 members operating in the decree number 77 of the government. The average annual revenue is over 380 million Vietnam dong per cooperation groups. The average income is about 4 million per laborer per month. In 2021 also, the whole province will establish 21 new cooperatives, and up to now, there are 160 cooperatives and the People Credit Funds attracting more than 39,000 members and about 236.2 billion Vietnam dong of charter capital. The average annual revenue is estimated at 10 billion Vietnam dong per cooperative, and the average income is about 5 million per laborer per month. In coming years, in order to orient and have solutions to collective economic as well as cooperative development, the Party Committee of the Ninh Province have set a goal by 2030 with the contribution of the cooperative economic sector and cooperatives accounts for 0.3% of the province GDP, and by 2030, the Ninh must reach about 185 cooperatives and 2 cooperative unions, of which 40% are cooperatives in the fields of agriculture producing according to the value chain of key local products, and each year, the average revenue of a cooperative is about 25.24 billion Vietnam dong, and the average profit is about 900 million Vietnam dong per cooperatives.
Turn to other news. According to the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, the total import-export turnover of arrow, forestry, fishery products were estimated at $31.8 billion USD, up 7% compared to the first 4 months of 2021.
Of which Vietnam saw a surplus of nearly $4 billion US, about 3.2 times higher than the same period last year. Meanwhile, the Office of Ministry of Industry and Trade informed that the balance of trade of Vietnam achieved a positive result with a surplus of $2.53 billion US for all types of exported goods in the first 4 months of the year. In that context, in order to help businesses shorten the time to market and avoid export risks, the Trade Promotion Department coordinated with overseas Vietnamese trade deals to conduct a series of online export consultation sections. Import partners also said that in order to access safe export markets, Vietnamese enterprises need to actively participate in trade promotion programs, transactions, promote and introduce products at fairs and exhibitions, large scale in the host countries. It is also an opportunity for businesses to strengthen their grasp for business cooperation with distribution and processing enterprises in other countries.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Vietnamese economy is responding strongly with impressive growth in newly established enterprises, industrialization and import-export, but it still faced with quite a few challenges and difficulties.
According to a report by the Ministry of Land and Investment, the Vietnamese economy continued to recover in April on top of the momentum recorded in the first quarter of 2022. Specifically, industrial production rose to 2% from a previous month and about 9.4% over the same period last year. Meanwhile, according to the Department of Statistics, in the first 4 months of 2022, the industrial production index in the province increased by 6.98% over the same period, in which the processing and manufacturing industry increased by 6.83%, textile increased by 14.81%, production of rubber and plastic products increased by 10%, and other processing and manufacturing industry increased by 11%. The Ministry of Land and Investment has revealed that Vietnam's economic recovery is positive but has not met expectations, and that it will take time for some sectors to recover while the implementation of support policies is slow. So the government requests localities to take the bold actions to accelerate the disbursement of public investment and establish working groups to remove barriers facing key projects in 2022. They also need to expedite the roadmap for cutting and simplifying administrative procedures and improving the business climate. In recent years, Vietnam Qualities Investment Attraction Policy has started to work effectively, shows not only the number of FDI projects but also the higher quality, green trends and uses of renewable energy. According to the Ministry of Land and Investment, Vietnam attracted over $10.8 billion of foreign direct investment (FDI) in the first 4 months of this year, equivalent to 88.3% of the amount recorded in the same period last year. Notably, FDI disbursement in the January-April period reached $5.92 billion, a year-on-year increase of about 7.6%. Foreign investors invested in 18 out of 21 economic sectors, mostly in processing and manufacturing sector with $6.2 billion, accounting for 57.2% of the total FDI. It was followed by retail estate with about $2.8 billion and retail with $667.8 million. In the first 4 months of 2022, Singapore led 72 countries and localities invested in Vietnam with about $3.1 billion, making up to 28.8% of the total FDI, and the Republic of Korea came the second with $1.82 billion, while Denmark was the third with over $1.3 billion. Basically, the foreign investors still consider Vietnam a safe investment destination, showing their confidence in the business environment. They will continue to expand investment as Vietnam has contained the COVID-19 pandemic and the economy is still growing on recovery momentum. And so, the foreign investment cooperation strategy for the 2021 to 2030 period is being finalized by the Ministry of Land and Investment and is expected to be submitted to the Prime Minister soon. The rough details have not been announced, but its important content is ensuring harmony of attracting investors and prioritizing the connection of global production and supply chains. And recently, at a regular meeting, the Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính also gave important instructions. Accordingly, it is necessary to show more clearly the requirements for inclusive quality and effect of FDI attraction in Vietnam. In principle, foreign investment attraction must be selective in favor of global production and supply chains, green business, high technology, accelerate technology, and advanced governance. The Foreign Investment Agency under Ministry of Land and Investment also has affirmed that Vietnam should improve in the quality of capital flows, which is considered a very important factor. This goal is also set in Resolution number 50 of the Police Bureau on approach to perfect institutions and policies and improve the foreign investment cooperation quality and efficiency by 2030. And when drafting 7 criteria for FDI attraction in the next period to be submitted to the government, Ministry of Land and Investment also emphasized that the connectivity and ripple effect criterion are the necessary conditions met ready for new investment inflows include reviewing and supplementing the Clean Land Fund, reviewing electricity planning and training high-quality human resources, and supplementing policies for developing supporting industries.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's all for today TTV News. Thank you for watching and see you next time.